Hello, welcome to today's video. We are going to be talking about repeated notes, more specifically about repeated legato. What would happen if we have two or three or multiple notes on inside the same slur or that need to be played legato? Here's an example of some music. Notice here, this little tune is called Love Somebody. And we have some slurs. Notice here this slur right there is legato, and beats 3 and 4 are both G. Same thing with these two, beats 3 and 4 are G. How do we produce the sound of legato for all 4 of these notes? Let's first talk about the repeated note or repeated legato with one finger, when the notes are to be repeated slowly, such as with that example. Okay, so when we repeat a note, we don't want to stay in the same spot on the key. We have a lot of space on this key, and so what we'd like to do is maybe kind of slide forward and back a little bit. So start off by sliding forward and back. Keeping the key down, sliding forward and back. And you may notice as I'm doing this, my wrist is coming up as I slide forward, and then my wrist drops as I slide back. Forward, up and back. Forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. Also, please remember to use the full arm and the elbow as a fulcrum, like this. The elbow also can assist in coming up and down. You want to use multiple muscles so as not to strain those muscles and become tired or fatigued. Okay, so with the repeated notes, we're going to come up and we're going to slide down. When we repeat the note, we're going to give it a little bit of a jerk down when dropping the wrist. So we slide up and down, slide up and down. Now, the key here is to produce a repeated note that will not have a space of silence in between. So if I were to let go of this key, notice you can see the wood on this key right there, the sound would stop. And that's what happens, of course, whenever you let go of keys. But if it's possible for me to make a sound quickly enough, again, without allowing the key to come up all the way, that would be able to make another sound. So let's see how quickly I can make that key go down again without it coming up too quickly. Notice it very, very quickly came up, but very quickly came back down again. Now there is a mechanical device inside of grand pianos called Escapement. It's also existing in upright pianos, but it's more pronounced and better to use with grands, because the hammer is able to come down and come up again to strike the string. You can play repeated notes quite fast, very quickly. For those who have uprights like I do, it won't be too quickly, because if I try to do that, sometimes it won't come up all the way. So you can play repeated notes, but if I play too quickly, you will just hit the wood. See that? Or you may feel the felt inside of the keys. Okay, so it may not be perfect for those with uprights, perfectly fine, but if you have a grand or if you have an electronic keyboard, it may work just fine. Okay, so it's also important that you allow the key to come up just enough so that it can play again. If you don't let it come up enough, it will not produce any more sound. It will simply just sound like wood hitting against wood. Okay, so that's the second step. After lifting and dropping, allowing the fingers to slide forward and back. Bring it up just enough so that it comes right back down again. And that's where the lifting and dropping comes into work. So lift and drop, lift and drop. So the lift and drop happens as we come down. It's a very quick movement. So notice I'm sliding so that I can use more muscle and not fatigue my fingers as we do this. What I'd like for you to do is play this 4 times for every single finger. Let's start with G. 2, 3, 4, back now to F, left. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, oops, 3, 3, there it is, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so practice that with each finger 4 times. Remember to going up, slide, come down, repeated notes, and then once you become comfortable, we can begin to apply this to music. So when you have this example here of the repeated G's, it sounds like a very nice repeated legato. At the very end of this tune, notice that there are multiple repeated notes. So we're going to just do that with each of these notes. Make sure that you always have a rounded circular motion when doing this so that it becomes comfortable for the arm and there is no strain or fatigue being produced. Okay, so practice that every day. Let's go ahead and apply it to our music and we will see you at next lesson.